The 2016 WWDC Apple event has now finished, and Apple has announced quite a lot of things. Now, unfortunately, we haven't had any hardware announcements, so no new MacBook Pros, no new Mac Pros, no Thunderbolt display. Hopefully they will come by the end of August, maybe October, hopefully sooner than that. But yeah, we did get to see quite a lot of software updates, iOS 10 with a lot of new features, macOS 10.12 Sierra, the new TVOS, and also the new watchOS 3.0, which basically changes everything. So hey everyone, and welcome to the ZONEofTECH. I'm Daniel, and yeah, in this video I'll be covering in detail everything that Apple has announced yesterday at their WWDC event. Enjoy. Okay, so the first thing that I talked about was watchOS 3.0. And watchOS 3.0 is actually the biggest change, well, since the Apple Watch was introduced. So the first thing that the update focuses on is performance improvements. So now apps should load and even respond instantly. The apps that you use the most will be kept in memory at all times, so they will actually launch instantaneously without you having to wait like 10 seconds, 5 seconds in order for the app to load. So this is a huge update, instant load for all the apps that you use the most. The second big change to watchOS 3.0 is this new dock. So now by pressing the side button, you get taken to this new dock interface in which you can actually pin different apps. And because of this, I believe the old Friends action is now gone, although this is not actually confirmed yet, but yeah, I think it's gone. In the new dock, you can actually pin different apps. I don't know if there's actually a limit to how many apps you can actually pin in the dock, but yeah, this is huge because up until now you actually had to press the crown and then go in the menu with lots of apps and then choose the one that you liked, and yeah, it was a pain to pick the app that you actually wanted to use. But now simply just press the side button, choose the app that you want to launch, and all the apps in the dock are actually kept in memory, so they will all load instantaneously without you having to wait anything. Now, they haven't actually said anything about the app draw. I think that's still present, even though they actually haven't said anything about it. But yeah, second big change for watchOS 3.0, the app dock. The app doctor. Number 3, we finally have a control center on the Apple Watch. So now if you swipe from bottom to top, you get taken to the control center, from which you can actually access a lot of settings, including seeing your battery life and so on. So yeah, Glances has now been replaced entirely by the new control center. Number 4, we have a lot of tiny improvements. So for example, when it comes to sending messages, you now have a lot more options in terms of quick replies. We also have scribbles, so now you can actually write down letters directly on the screen and then compose a message, a short message, and then send it to your friends. Other than that, before we had Mickey Mouse, and now we also have Minnie. Minnie is also coming as a watch face to the Apple Watch in watchOS 3.0. And speaking of watch faces, we also have a couple of more new watch faces. Like for example, we finally have an activity watch face, so you can see your activity directly on that watch face, and then you can actually pick from different styles. We also get the new numerals watch face, which looks pretty clean. And then they also changed the way you change your watch face. So up until now, you had to press hard on the display, and then you had to pick a different watch face, press again, and then you finally had the new watch face. But now you can simply swipe from one side to another, and it would switch between watch faces without you having to force touch or anything. That's pretty cool. Other than that, we finally get universal complications like weather, which can now be set to any home screen, any watch face you want. And finally, the Apple Watch has finally been optimized for wheelchair users. So for example, instead of telling you to stand, it will actually tell you to roll. And then you also have a couple of customized workouts, and the activity app has also been updated. So yeah, if you're a wheelchair user, then this is going to be a pretty big update. Now going back to the big updates, number 5, we have an emergency mode. So now if you press and hold the side button, the Apple Watch will go into emergency mode, and it will call the emergency number based on the country you're located in, even if you don't know what that emergency number is. Number 6, we have activity sharing. So now you can share and actually see the activity of your friends, and then, I don't know, compare and compete with your friends. You can also send them your heartbeat directly from the app, and you can also send them a customized smart message based on the workout you're doing. And finally, number 7, we have a brand new app called Breathe. So yeah, the Apple Watch will actually remind you that it's time to breathe in case you forget to breathe, and you know, it doesn't want you to suffocate. So I think it's a pretty good app. I personally do forget to breathe sometimes, so it's pretty good that the Apple Watch is here to remind me. But no, seriously, the app is used for you to relax. So every hour or so, it would remind you to take a break and then inhale and exhale. And yeah, it's a pretty weird app, but yeah, it's there. So yeah, watchOS 3.0 is definitely a huge update for the Apple Watch, although I think that most of the features should have been there from the very start, except for the breathing app. Finally, moving on to the second topic, tvOS. So in terms of the Apple TV, we didn't actually get that many changes. A few new streaming services like Sling and Molotov are coming to the Apple TV. We finally have a dark mode now, and Siri has gotten much smarter. However, the biggest change is the new remote app for iOS, which actually matches the functionality of the actual Siri remote. Other than that, no big changes. Finally, moving on to the third big announcement, we have macOS. So just as I mentioned in my What to Expect video, OS X has now been renamed to macOS, so now we have iOS iOS, macOS, tvOS, and watchOS. So we finally have a pretty consistent naming scheme. The new macOS 10.12 is now called macOS Sierra. In terms of the updates, the biggest one is in terms of continuity. So now you can actually set your Apple Watch to automatically unlock any Mac. So if it's close to your Mac, it's based on range. If it's close to your Mac, it will automatically unlock it. So no need to type your password anymore. That's pretty cool. But definitely the biggest update is a universal clipboard. So this is pretty cool and pretty huge. So basically, if you copy something on your iPhone, you can paste it on your Mac, or if you copy something on your iPhone, you can paste it on your iPad, and so on. So copy paste now works all across all iOS devices and Mac as well. So that's pretty awesome. Other than that, you can now store your entire desktop in iCloud Drive. Number 3, we have this pretty cool feature. It's called Optimized Storage, and what it does is that you have the option to delete all of your old files and actually store them in the cloud and only keep your new files on your Mac. So they actually showed us this example in which from 20 gigabytes of free storage, they actually managed to clear up to 150 gigabytes. That's insane. I mean, clearing 130 gigabytes in just one click, that's awesome. Number 4, Apple Pay is finally coming to the Mac in Safari. However, unlike what I said in my What to Expect video, that it will basically work with any website, it won't actually work with any website. It would only work with the websites that have it implemented. And then to confirm the payment, you would need to use your iPhone's Touch ID or the Apple Watch. Another big update is number 5, the ability to actually have multiple tabs open in the same app. So you can have multiple instances of the same app in multiple tabs, or you can just have different content in multiple tabs. But multiple tabs is now supported for any app, even third-party ones. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to try out. Number 6, we have picture-in-picture for video, which basically works in the exact same way as it does on the iPads. Number 7, I actually mentioned this a lot of times. Yes, we finally have Siri on the Mac. So yeah, Siri is finally here, and this is how she looks like. And she also has a brand new voice, much more human-like voice.
Hi, it's me.
Now, Siri on the Mac has the exact same functionality like she does on iOS. However, we do get some macOS exclusive Siri exclusive features, like the ability to search files in Finder. So for example, you can ask her, show me files that I worked on last week and so on. And then you can also pin those results in the notification center. So that's pretty awesome. Finally, in terms of compatibility, macOS 10.12 or Sierra would actually work on any Mac that's from 2010, not 2012, 2010 or newer. So most of you will probably be able to install macOS Sierra in September when the official release is released. And finally, moving on to the biggest announcement of the event, the one you've all been waiting for, number 4, iOS 10. So iOS 10 is actually the biggest change, finally the biggest change in iOS ever since iOS 4. So the first big change is a new redesigned lock screen. So the lock screen has been completely redesigned. It now supports Raise to Wake. 3D Touch has finally become useful. So you can now accept, for example, calendar invitations and so on, and even reply directly to messages directly from the lock screen without you having to unlock your phone. You can simply do this by using 3D Touch. You can also clear all of your notifications using 3D Touch finally, and we also have a brand new control center. Every single one of those apps in the control center is now 3D Touch enabled finally. And now take a look at this. If you swipe to the left, you actually get to a dedicated music space, so you have all of your music controls there. And now from the lock screen, you can access the camera by simply swiping to the right, and by simply swiping to the left, we finally have widgets. We finally have full widgets on iOS, which up until now were only seen in the notification center. So this is huge, and those widgets, they look awesome. They finally give us a lot of info. You can basically have any third-party widgets you want there. Speaking of widgets, when you 3D touch on the home screen, we finally get more information when it comes to the apps, as in you can actually have video playing in that 3D touch section of the app. So this is huge. Number 2, we have Siri. Siri is now open to developers, so any app can use Siri. So you can simply ask Siri now to find an Uber for you, or basically anything as long as the developers have it implemented in their apps. This is huge. Infinite possibilities, basically. Number 3, in terms of iOS 10, we have quick tap improvements. So the keyboard has now gotten much smarter with suggestions directly from Siri. It will finally automatically change between languages based on what you type. Number 4, photos. We did get a lot of improvements in the Photos app. Like for example, we finally have facial recognitions in the iOS app. So yeah, I can now recognize faces and even places and objects. Like for example, you can now ask Siri to search for all of your photos from last week that have a white horse in it. Yeah, that's how smart Siri and the new Photos app are in the new iOS 10. Pretty impressive, isn't it? You also have the new Memories function, which is basically like the one in Google Photos. So it automatically creates a movie based on the place you went to on your trip. And then you can change the length. You can even change the music style all in real time. This is really impressive. Maps has also been improved. We have a new design, and Maps is actually smarter now. So kind of like Google now, it now knows when you have to go to work and also sees the traffic, so it can tell you when you should leave. But the biggest change to Maps is that it's finally open to developers. So any developer, any app can make use of the Maps app. in iOS 10. Number 6, we have Apple Music. Yes, Apple Music finally got a complete redesign. It's much more simplistic. The fonts are also much larger. We finally have a download music section, although I don't think there's a download all button. We also get lyrics, so you can finally see the lyrics from your songs directly in the app. That's pretty cool as well. We have a brand new browse section in which you can see the new music, the top playlists based on genre, and so on. So huge improvements when it comes to the music app. Number 7, the news app has also been redesigned. It's now easier to read, larger text, and it also comes with a much simpler interface. Number 8, HomeKit. So yeah, HomeKit, just as I mentioned before, HomeKit finally got the dedicated app. So now you can simply just open up the app, and if you have a couple of smart appliances, smart things in your home, you can control all of those things from that app instead of having to use dedicated, separate apps. So this works on both the iPhone, the iPad, and even the Apple Watch. So you can do basically everything from just an app. That's pretty cool, although I don't actually have any smart appliances, so that kind of sucks, but if you do, it's amazing. Number 9, we have the phone app. So we finally have voicemail transcription, which, well, you probably know what it means. You will be able to read your voicemail instead of having to listen to it. Also, just like on Android, we finally have possible spam support. So if you get a call from an unknown number, it would actually tell you if it's possibly spam. We also get VoIP support or voice over IP support for any app. So any app can actually use the lock screen to make a call. So if you get a call from someone on Skype, for example, or WhatsApp, you would actually get the same phone interface as if you were getting a call. That's pretty awesome as well. And number 10, this is definitely the biggest update when it comes to iOS, the Messages app. So the Messages app has been completely redesigned. We have a lot of functions, like for example, emojis are now bigger, and we get something called emoji predictions. So for example, if in your text, in your message, if you type like pizza, that pizza would be highlighted and you can actually replace that word with an emoji without having to search for that emoji. So this is pretty awesome. And we also have some pretty cool bubble effects. So for example, you can type with invisible ink and have that person that you're sending the message to have to swipe the ink to see the message. We also have different bubble sizes, so we can now have bigger or smaller bubbles depending on the text or the message you want to send. Thumbs up for messages and photos is now supported. Handwriting is also supported directly in Messages, so if you want to write down something using your finger, you can actually do that. Digital touch is also supported, so just like on Apple Watch, you can actually write down things on photos, so this is pretty awesome as well. And then you have one of the most impressive features, full screen effect. So you can have something like this one, Happy New Year, or this one, explosions. You can have a lot of things, and if you are in a group chat, everyone from that group chat will actually see those effects. So this is pretty awesome. And finally, number 11, this is actually one of the biggest changes, even though Apple hasn't said anything about this at their event. You can actually uninstall stock apps. So if you have a couple of stock apps that you don't use, more than just a couple, you can now uninstall them. And a cool thing about this is that you can re-download them from the App Store. And a cool thing about this is that they will now be updated through the App Store instead of just having to wait for separate updates. So if Apple wants to release an update to, let's say, Apple Music, you don't actually have to wait for iOS 10.1 or something. They could actually just update that from the App Store. So this is pretty huge actually. And finally, something extra that I want to mention, Swift. In case you don't know, Swift is a brand new programming language developed by Apple. Swift is now, well, Swift Playgrounds is a new app that's available for the iPad. And with Swift Playgrounds, you can now learn to code. So if you don't know how to code, this is the best way to learn how to do that. And I do advise every single one of you to try coding, especially using Swift, because Swift is so much easier than something like C, C# and so on. It's really easy to learn. So yeah, especially with this new Playgrounds app, anyone can get a hang of Swift in just a few hours, a few minutes, actually hours, days maybe, of learning tutorials. But yeah, definitely give it a go. Now, all of these announcements, iOS 10, macOS 10.12, tvOS, and watchOS 3, all of these will be released in September. However, the developer preview is now available, and I will have different videos, separate videos on those things as well. But this was a really long video. I really wanted to make this video to cover everything. And yeah, even this video, I haven't actually talked about everything. I had about 9 pages, A4 pages of notes. And yeah, this video should have been way longer, but thank you all for watching this video. Definitely be sure to give this video a like if you have enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? What was your favorite announcement? If it was iOS 10, which feature of iOS 10 was your favorite one? Definitely let me know in the comment section down below. Other than that, definitely feel free to subscribe to my channel ZONEofTECH if you want to see those videos. But iOS 10, macOS 10.12, And watchOS 3.0, I won't be covering TVOS because I don't actually have the new Apple TV, but I'll definitely be covering the other ones, so definitely subscribe for those. And also follow me on Twitter for any more iOS 10, macOS 10.12, and so on updates there. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications on my channel on both desktop and mobile. On mobile by simply clicking on that bell icon next to my channel so that you're notified as soon as I upload my next epic video. But yeah, this was another really long video, so if you've made it to the end, let me know in the comments by saying I've made it to the end, hashtag WWDC Recap. So yeah, thank you for watching, I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.